Super honored, excited to be here. For the next 2 hours, we're going to step through some builds that took place over the course of the week here and just some numbers for folks. 120 builders, more than 120 builders showed up this week. Mike and I were just joking. Mike, Jack, and I were joking because people are actually still signing up now. You can still build. You won't have your presentation done in time for today, but there were a lot of submissions. So submissions mean someone actually not only built a project, went the time to put together a video, a demo for us. We had a super hard time this morning getting down to the presentations we were going to see today. Folks from at least 5 continents spent 3 days, often building together, often gathering. There were multiple sessions every single day for folks to hang. It's been a total honor to build with everyone this week. What happens next is the real deal. It's demo day. All the people who have the presentations will be, we have a video from you, but many folks will choose to present live. Regardless of what you choose, your video, your presentation, you're going to have 3 minutes to impress the judges. I get to MC it and cut folks off at the 3-minute mark. I'll maybe give you 5 seconds extra, but then I'll truly hand it over to the judges. Judges, we get 2 minutes max to ask questions. Usually it'll be 2 questions, 2 answers, something like that. And then end. Jack and Mike are up on stage with us. They're our team. They're going to be bringing folks up as a participant. We'll bring you on right before kind of the judges' questions. When the judges are asking questions to the person before you, you'll come on stage. We'll ask you to stay quiet, please. The participant, once they're kind of the live participant, will exit stage and we'll keep rolling. If someone's not ready to go, we'll skip and try to work you back in. But, we don't have that much time today. We are on the clock. And good luck, of course. Prizes today. Really what the judges are here today to do is to award the grand prize. $5,000 to the winner. And a really big key, which will make sense in a second. And then separately, we knew there was going to be a lot of awesome stuff. So our team's going to be awarding 4 other additional prizes today. Not the grand prize, but kind of looking more individually at the projects and the different types of builders we had this week and trying to honor what they did. And then we'll maybe share a little more later about another prize or 2 we thought up this week. The grand prize is what we're here to do with Demo Day. And yes, this is real. The winner will get this awesome 3.5-foot long metal key. You will keep it until the next hackathon. Maybe forever, but probably till the next hackathon, at which point we'll engrave your name and we'll hand it over to the next builder in the category. But it is heavy, fun, makes a great backdrop. Good luck. The judges who are choosing the grand prize winner, we have Steve, Amy, Richard, Lydia, Nathan. I'll give you all 30 seconds to say hello in just a second. Just a second. And today's lineup, we share this out on social. We share this on our shared channel, but we're going to step through, again, 20 presentations today as fast as we can. Judges, let's cut right over to you. Richard, you were here first. Say hello, please.
I'm muted. Hello, everybody. I'm really, really happy to be here. Friday afternoon, best time of the week to enjoy yourself. So, yeah, well done, Andrew and team, for putting this together, because I imagine it is very difficult.
Anything you're looking for today, Richard? How can people impress you as a judge?
Personally, I'd be looking for something where they're using the data to actually generate a whole new business model that no one has ever thought of to become a billionaire, because no one's actually managed it yet.
Pressure.
Possibly apart from Steve as a judge on here. So,
all right, we're looking for billionaires. Good luck, all. Amy, let's go to you. Where are you today?
Hey, everybody. I'm in Portland, Oregon, and we had a really good dinner last night. Some of the people, I think on your panels, are coming. We're at dinner last night, so it's kind of, I swear there was no talk about it. I just didn't know it until I saw the lineup. But I think that I have Vera in Mintel, and I'm the editor there, and I also have the Vacation Rental Data and Revenue Management Conference. coming up in December. And so I am looking for speakers. I'm looking for new ideas for content for that and education and things that we need to address. Like Richard, I'd love to find and steal an idea and make it into something that's worth $1 billion. And other than that, I think that we're really just trying to create this healthy startup environment in our industry right now. And I think events like this are just perfect for what I think we're all on the same page here as far as what we need and the innovation we need to see from actual users. So I'm super pumped about today. And thank you so much, Wheelhouse, for doing this. I know you've worked so hard, but we're all
Amy,
grateful.
love it. Love having you here. Amy and team donated 4 tickets that we will be giving out to folks too. Super generous. Really appreciate all your support. Nathan, quick hello.
Hey everybody, I'm Nathan from Wander. Really excited to be here and looking forward to seeing what you all have built. Major props to the Wheelhouse team for putting this all together. Super organized, really well done. What can push things across the edge for me, I think, will be just seeing how people have innovated with the latest changes in AI and how they've integrated that into their products and how they've worked with the data to come up with interesting insights. Like everybody else has mentioned, of course, if you have any billionaire ideas, really excited to see those and looking forward to seeing you become a billionaire. So, yeah.
Yeah, we're here to help. Lydia, hello.
Hi everyone. I'm super excited to be here. And super organized event. I'm really looking forward to seeing what everyone has been working on. I think the thing that will be super interesting to me is A, the creativity behind the ideas, something that we haven't heard before. And then B, I feel like the short-term rental industry has like the big property managers, but like also the small operators. So if you take into account both ends of the spectrum, solutions that work for a bunch of other people, that would be really interesting to me.
Lovely. Appreciate it. Love it. Steve.
Hey, everybody. Well, first of all, Andrew and the entire Wheelhouse team, congratulations. Such a cool event, and really grateful for you guys doing this. Just the amount of professionalism and the way you guys have done this is unparalleled. I think you guys have set a new standard for everything. As for me, I'll be looking for things that are practical to those people that are actually out there in the field, really looking at the data. How can they practically take this and use it in the real world scenarios and something that's innovative, out of the box thinking. Hopefully, there's so many incredible people that are participating in this. I'm sure we're going to see things that that I know that I'm not thinking about, but maybe the entire industry is not thinking about, and somebody who can really help with insight, workload, and creative usability that we just haven't seen before for those who are really going to use the products. So that's what I'll be looking for.
Love it. Judges, well articulated. You're going to have a really hard time. We have some amazing folks, amazing presentations, and we're going to dive right in. Victor, are you here with us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
We can hear you. You
All right.
are live when actually, let me just get my clock up so you have a few more seconds. And those are going to present again. You have the chance to you play your video. You can come present live. You just heard what the judges want, so kind of a hint at last minute tweaks if you want to add something fun to your Prezi. But we are here to root for you. We're here to also keep you on time. And we are just about ready to rock. Victor.
Can you see my screen yet? Open.
We cannot see your screen quite yet.
Second. Oh, it's gonna make me leave and reopen.
Do it.
Okay.
Come back. All right. Good. A little time to breathe and relax. And Jack, just in case, we'll have Jason Lopez, you are up next, so get ready to rock, followed by Aaron Calloway and Richard. Play the music, I know, but I love awkward microphone time. So, oops, that's not the screen I want to share. I'm gonna share this. So, folks, if you are coming up soon, just get ready to rock. Ready to rock. We want to give every participant time. Jordan in here at the end is like, come on, we got to keep this moving. And so we'll do it. Judges, you have water? You have coffee? Victor's back in. There we go. Welcome back.
All right, let's try that again. Allow, desktop 3, share.
Game time. All right. Good luck. 3 minutes.
Yeah. All right. So thanks for having me. This has been incredible to be able to participate. If you want to join along, this is a real website called bookbuy.date. The reason that I made this was Wheelhouse is incredibly powerful, but to me, it sort of felt like walking into an airplane cockpit with all these controls that were super intimidating and I couldn't really figure out. And so what I did was I just set conservative and sort of like walked away and said, it's going to be good enough because I'm not quite sure how to use this. So what I needed was someone to help me actually use all of these powerful tools that Wheelhouse has available. And so I used my AI agent, Greg, which is the generally reliable electronic gopher, to help me figure out, now that I have this API access, what else can I do? So I had these good tools, but the way that I managed was basically panic. I would set up Wheelhouse, it would be working well, and then all of a sudden, I would stop getting booking emails. I would log in and I'd see that I have a month of vacancy, and I would drop by 15% 6 weeks out and 25% 2 weeks out, and that's how I run my business. It's not great, and I'm not proud of it. And what that meant was I was sort of on this bottom curve here in the chart where I would have prices too high, and then I would jump and I would lose all this money. Or sometimes I would be worried about that and overcompensate, and I would book like 3 months in advance. I was never really on this ideal path. And so what I started working with Greg with is, what would a book by date look like, which is every date of the year has a particular optimized time that when you book it, it is getting the maximum value for that day. And that depends on, Christmas, New Year's. In Washington, D.C., where I am, that's cherry blossoms. That's all kinds of different days have different book by dates. So how can you actually pull that out? The other thing that we figured out was there's this functionality that you have where you can actually protect geometry of stays. So your days are actually this Tetris game where as you get bookings, you sort of start getting these 1 days. And I refuse to do 1 day bookings because they always have kind of the worst outcomes for me in DC with parties and things like that. So what I did was I worked with Greg to get 8 years of data from Guesty because they have an API. And then I also got all of the comp pricing from Wheelhouse. And basically, I scraped all of the data I could possibly get and then worked with Greg to create tools. I put it online on a Supabase database and normalized it, and then created tools where every day Greg goes in and refreshes all of the data, gets the most recent stuff, normalizes it, runs it through all the tools so that it has all the information. Greg then uses the artificial intelligence to figure out what actually can be changed. There are
10 seconds to go, Victor.
And what that means is at the end of every day I get this email where Greg says, I don't need anything from you. I'm handling it. Here's your calendar. Here are the dates that I'm blocking and protecting. And my favorite thing about this is running. And I actually get an email where it says, I don't need you to do anything. You are getting the best possible prices for your bookings run through AI.
Woo! Lovely. 3 minutes. Awesome. Judges, fire away. 2 minutes.
The book by date. Can I go?
Yeah, fire away.
The book by date. How did you determine? I mean, like when you're looking at creating that special spot, I mean, now you're looking historically, but are you putting any kind of future or any kind of predictive behavior in that at all?
Yeah, we tried to, I worked with Greg on it, like weather data. You can predict if the first week of May is going to be rainy or not. But as the first week of May starts approaching, you get real data that can start backing it up. So that's where the Wheelhouse data starts coming in, and Greg starts trying to figure out, oh, is it actually booking fast? Are the comps booking fast? I'm going to raise the price to try and protect the booking until it's actually in its optimum. And then then it will optimize a little bit lower. And then that's when it should trigger. And it's using, all 10,000 DC short-term rentals to actually inform some of that decision-making.
That's cool, Victor.
Hey, Victor, you used 8 years of Guesty information there. Do you think you could plug this back into Guesty and let it run wild? Give it authority to say, yeah, do it.
It is. It's doing it. It can control all of the variables in Guesty and in Wheelhouse. So it found out I actually had this old setting where like August was 18% discounted. It's like, why are you doing that? I'm going to change that. And so it's going in there and actually tweaking and making Wheelhouse function like I think its creators want it to be created, but accounting for the fact that I have no idea what I'm doing, and it actually can do the research and use the data to help me make the most money as possible from this one short-term rental that I have.
Quick,
I did have a really
Lydia.
crazy question. Did you blend in
Yeah.
phases of moon as well?
I actually asked it like to see if it could book like if people booked more during certain times of the day, and if maybe we should increase prices like between 3 and 7 p.m. at night when people are like looking for reservations, and it vetoed that decision. So it did look at my historical data and is only using things that it can use the data to defend to make its decision.
Lydia, quick hit.
Yeah, quick question. So you showed us an email where it says there's nothing to do. Give me an example of when there is something to do, and does it do it for you or you do it?
It does that. So it's checking every week to see if there's new features. And the previous email where it did have something was it noticed that Airbnb changed its pricing policy where like it charged a 15% rate to all guests, but VRBO had a different rate. And it said, I need you to tell me if you want me to price just globally and then let that work itself out, or you want me to make it so the price is the same between VRBO and Airbnb from what the guest says. And I said, I want it to be the same and optimize that. It goes, okay, I'll fix it. And then it went in there and did all these things. And I didn't have to like do anything more than make the decision, which was really nice.
Cool.
Future is here. Love it. Awesome. Victor, we gave you a little more than 5. You're free. Next up, let's go. Thank you, judges. Great questions. Rock on. Who we got? Jason. All right. Jason, you ready?
I am. Hello, everyone.
Hello, hello. Are you going to screen share? There we go. All right.
Yep, I'm going to go live. All right. So every year, nearly half of all vacation rental nights go unsold. So an empty week, for example, in November is literally worth 0. And that's across millions of homes. It's the biggest waste of inventory in hospitality. Nocturne turns those dead nights into currency. And then owners can earn moons, think like frequent flyer miles, but for homes, and spend them on stays at other properties in the network. So let me show you how. You guys can all see my screen? Okay, perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and log in here. I got to give the 2FA 1 sec. This is a hardened application. So all right, here we go. So this is where you can explore and go ahead and actually book nights in the platform. But before I do that, I want to show you how you can connect Wheelhouse to get your listings into the platform. So if I go into settings and integrations, I can paste my Wheelhouse API key here. 1 sec. Paste. This is going to connect my Wheelhouse account, and I'm going to go ahead and find my listings. Here are my listings, and let's say I want to import these 2. I'm going to go ahead and import them, and I'm just going to set the time zone here to New York and import. So now I have these 2 properties imported, and if I come over to properties, you'll see them here. Sample 5 bedroom, sample 2 bedroom. So this is how I start getting properties into the platform. And then if I want to make these properties available for booking on the platform, I can come over here and choose the property that I want to make available. I can give it a range of dates, or I can just open my calendar up. If I open my calendar up, it basically works on a book by request flow. So as a user, I can come in here. Let's say I have 9,000 moons to spend because I've been putting my properties on here and earning moons. I can come in here and find a property that I want to book. Let's say this Dune house, and I can choose my dates. And that's going to be 1,500 moons, and go ahead and request to book. So there's actually no currency in the platform. It all works on this in-app currency. And you earn these moons by listing your properties on here. Again, on unused nights that you typically would go unbooked. Now, the cool thing about this is PMCs can run this as their own brand program. So moons can be used in a closed network. So if you're like a CasaGo or of a Casa, you can use this as like a branded program. Or if you're a much smaller operator, maybe you're managing like 10 or 20 properties, then maybe you want to open it up to the whole network. This gives you, as a PMC, differentiator for your homeowners. It gives you value add for those nights that would typically go unused, and it gives you loyalty. And it gives you loyalty with the ability to create your own closed loop programs. So yeah, in a nutshell, this is how it works. And then just to show you the last bit here, the wallet. So this is where you have your moons and your full ledger here based on how many moons you've earned and how many you've spent.
Jason, hit quickly on why the API and the moons correlate.
Oh yes, sorry. Thank you, Andrew. So how am I using Wheelhouse here? So traditionally, these types of programs run on a tier, meaning like you have bronze, silver, and gold, for example, and bronze might earn like 100 points and gold might earn like 500 points per night. What I've done is I've actually used Wheelhouse data to dynamically price those moons that you would earn based on the actual demand data.
Lovely. Judges, fire away, minute and a half.
Is there a way to monetize this? Like, for instance, I mean, while the owners are exchanging units, there's still going to be like hard costs of like cleaning fees, issues like that. Is there a fee for you? Is there a way to monetize for the property manager?
Yeah, that's a great question. So yes, there is. So typically, if you're familiar with like Third Home, for example, they do keys, I think they call it, and then they charge like a small booking fee that covers the costs, right? So yes, the same concept would apply here. And then theoretically, if I did spin this out into like a loyalty program for PMCs, then that would be a way to potentially monetize it as well.
Yeah, same subject, Jason. Yeah, quite a lot of these around. How do you navigate the fact that the manager is losing out, essentially? They're always fairly concerned about, even in quiet periods, missing out on their commission. So is there a part of the model which ensures that the manager gets the commission?
So that's a great question, Richard. There is, it's not like totally solidified, but one of the ideas is that the managers, so there's like a burn built into the algorithm, right? If let's say that a night would typically be like $500 US, you don't get like an actual one-to-one exchange of moons. You would get like 85%. So there is like one of the ideas would be to have like a split commission from that burn that would be attributed to the PMC. So they could also earn on those days.
Lovely. Judges, sorry, that's time. We're going to hit to the next. Jason, well built. Awesome. Next up.
Thank you.
Aaron, you ready to rock?
I sent a request to share. Let me know if it went through.
I have not seen her.
I just accepted, Aaron.
Okay.
Let me go
and judges, you have scorecards that you can fill out as you go, take notes, etc. Sorry, we have to move fast. It's the nature of having so many good things. Aaron, are you ready to rock? Let's do it.
Yes,
5
I'm
minutes.
going to play a video because I tend to ramble, but this was filmed late last night and I lost my English at some points, but here we go.
Hit it.
Hi, this is the Richer Agenda. It will open up with a client dossier, kind of the biographical information of a company, their systems, inventory breakdown, some notes. Under here is where we'll live the agenda for each meeting, complete with the raw data that informs the reports. And you can send a pre-meeting email with talking points and also the reports. You open the cycle's agenda to see the portfolio overview, the pickup for that week. You can toggle same store, see occupancy and ADR versus same time last year. Here you have a recap of last week's meeting, as well as a debrief of where the pickup is concentrated and things to look out for more high level. Then you have action impact, which tells us of the time-stamped executed moves, which of these have influenced bookings, which ones do we maybe need to push more on or hold. And then watch list is a way to track more granularly struggle properties across different metrics. And then if we feel that it's improving enough, we can release it from the watch list. Down here, we'll have this week's focus. So basically it will flag, last minute availability, something that hasn't booked in a while. If there's an event window, same time last year is kind of falling off for certain groups. And we can add all of these to our notepad, which pops up here on the left. Group versus market pace, basically a way for us to zoom into the portfolio and understand across different time periods where we are versus the market. And you can also sort to see which ones need maybe a closer look. Here in Rate Shop, you have The ability to see for each date what the rate is for that property, as well as the percentiles of the market, your overall occupancy, and the booked median. And if the market is soft or firming for that time period, you select a span of dates and you'll get these action cards that gives you a recommendation that you can add to the action pad, which pops up on the right here. And you can also watch list these properties if you feel you want the granular tracking. Then we have the reviews and rate module, which uses PMS info as well as Apify scrape to let us know that regardless of the rate positioning, if certain properties with similar bedroom counts or amenities are falling behind in terms of reviews, we can probably lower the rates further or maybe even increase some of them should the opportunity arise. Finally, with summary, you can email the client a follow-up and also push the actions that we collected straight through to Wheelhouse.
How was that? Did we hear it okay?
Thanks, Aaron. We heard it great. Yeah, thank you. Judges.
The actions, as they're pushed through to Wheelhouse, is that an automated process or is that something still hands-on?
Yeah, it's automated. It's connected. So really a push of a button, it'll ask you to confirm. And the actions or recommendations are built off of a skill I taught it to layer in last year booked rate, booking window for each property. And when it doesn't have last year data, it looks at comparable medians to similar properties in your portfolio or the market. And it also has a signal to nudge it if the market seems to be firming or softening in either direction.
Is there a client-facing view on that for the property manager, or is this just internal?
The goal is to have it be accessible by the client as well. But it starts off with their kind of profile, and then they'll also able to go in and look at certain rates and modules that appeal to their interests.
Are the cards that pop up, are those like templates based on the recommendations? So when you punch those in, it automatically changes the settings?
Yeah, so you click and drag over a time period and it pulls like all the properties in that group and says, either raise the rate by a certain percentage, but it'll give you the actual number, lower or hold. And if it's sold, it'll tell you if it booked at higher or lower than itself last year for those same dates or the market median if there's no last year.
And you're choosing who's in the group, not it's choosing who's in the group, or you're choosing who's in the group.
Yeah, so the portfolio is already segmented into groups, and then you can filter for the groups at a time, and it pulls up the relevant submarket.
Cool.
Sweet. We're at time all. Aaron, great direct answers. Thanks so much. Great building with you. You're free. All right. Next up, Swiper. Jonathan, ready to rock?
Yep, I'm ready. Let me just share my screen here.
Your 5 minutes will begin when this screen is shared. And let's see. Are folks seeing it yet? I'm not seeing it yet.
All right. Is it up yet?
Nope. Not yet.
I'm having
There we go.
this week. All
There we
right.
go.
Well, ready. Well, welcome to Swiper. So Swiper is for property managers that don't have a lot of time. I manage a lot of homes, got a lot going on. I don't have time to dig in to find every little opportunity to book one of my homes. So Swiper is like the Tinder for revenue managers and property managers. Every morning you come in, it's going to give you 5 cards to swipe through. It's looking through Wheelhouse to see houses that are pacing behind or have the greatest opportunity to rebook the most open revenue. So you come in, it's going to give you a property or multiple. It's going to give you the lift, the projected lift. So that's how much more revenue you're going to make compared to those same dates last year. And it's going to give you suggestions. So it might be increase your nightly rate, lower your nightly rate, lower or raise your minimum stay. It can give listing suggestions. So it might tell you, we're here in New England, to change your hero photo to be fall foliage. If we're booking right now for October, that's Halloween season here, that's fall foliage. Let's get rid of the summer beach photos and focus on those people. It's pulling from Wheelhouse. It's connected to my track software and then also to Riva for reviews. So it's going to look at that review data and see what people are saying about the house to include in its suggestions. And we can come in and see uh, an easy to read description of what it's telling you to do. And then we can just go over and swipe, and it's going to go and run those updates. So it's going to go to Wheelhouse, change the pricing, change those rules. For certain things in track, it might give you a suggestion, to go find a fall foliage photo because it can't make that for you. But you can also come in and make more cards if you're looking for specific dates, specific homes, or you just want to do more. And then you can get a log of everything that it's been doing and what action items you need to take to finish that card. But finally, you can come in and it's going to give you a score. So every point of lift that you get, you're going to get 1 point. And for every dollar above the projected lift, you're going to make an extra point. And it's basing the lift off the growth in revenue it's expected by the confidence it has. So if it's more confident, your lift is going to show higher, which means if it's less confident, but you get more money, you're going to get a lot more points. And you can turn your points in for prizes, and you can come in here, see your conversion, see how much money you're making. And Swiper would charge a percentage of the lift. So you're only
30-second
paying when you
warning.
make money. But you can come down here and spend your points for some fun prizes, such as revenue optimization Zoom with Ben Coleman, free tickets to DARM, dinner in San Francisco with Andrew Kitchell, or 1 week at any Costco property. So you got to earn a lot of points to get there, but makes it a little fun every morning when you come in and see your opportunity to make some money.
Way to charm. All right. Good job, judges. Fire away.
The rules behind the cards. I'm sorry, go ahead. The rules behind the cards, John. This is cool, by the way. Do you create those? Are those set by the property manager? How are those done?
So you'd be able to prompt it basically with your company's information. So your seasonality, your local events, is it's pulling local event data as well. So you're able to give it that prompt, but it's automatically looking for 5 opportunities that are a blend of either the highest possible lift or the homes that are pacing behind the market or their prior performance the most.
Yeah, Jonathan, I guess you're looking at the 80% of the market between 2 and 20 properties for this product, yeah?
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
I think this is really cool. I got to wonder if there's any application on this where you could almost enter your homeowners with the suggestions and say, hey, would you approve, swipe left, or disapprove? And now we have a way to get owner feedback and quick loops at an aggregate level. But really cool, really good ideas behind it. I guess I just, how customizable are the suggestions if I want to make sure that I'm segmenting properly or thinking about like that market properly? Is there a back end tweaks that you can work on?
Yeah, the idea is there's
user could buy.
a master prompt that you can go in and update, so you can give it changes or feed it your revenue management strategy or your company info, so that you could go in and tweak that and say, hey, I don't want I think now we need to be focusing on spring, not fall. Let's adjust that or change our strategy a little bit.
Yeah.
I have to ask one more question, Andrew. So could you fractionalize this into a superior system so individual homeowners could actually use it on a daily basis?
Yes, no.
Yeah. I think you could use it at any scale you'd want to.
Cool. Thanks, Jonathan. Great stuff. Jonathan also submitted multiple projects. Well done. Next up, Doug, let's do it.
All right.
Ready to rock? When you share your screen,
Yes.
or tell me I'm fine. We'll be on the clock.
Yep. Let me share my screen. And I have to make sure I share the sound as well.
Told you it's gonna be tough, judges. 15 more to go. Maybe 16.
Let's see. I'm trying to share the sound, but it's not allowing me to share the sound. Is that a permission thing?
I don't know. Probably. Let's see. Can you talk over it, or is it also? Oh, let's see. Settings. Display and controls. I don't know how to do that. Audio. Anyone?
Will you
Yeah,
try
Mike.
sharing and we might get a pop-up that allows us to add the permission?
Sure. Let me.
Okay, Doug, can you hear us?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yep. And let's push play. And is that, let's see what we get.
Yeah, I'll
Let's
see.
see if. Not hearing it? Nope. Okay. Well, I'm just going to freebase it then, guys, and we'll just
Lovely.
do it straight. Do it straight. I'll try to re go for it for what I did
Cool.
in the video.
Thank you.
All right. So thank you all very much for having me for this. Pleased to share with you guys morning triage. So we took a very practical approach at this, thinking about what is the best use of revenue manager's time. So what basically the basis here is that we are utilizing Wheelhouse's Revenue Manager API to help a revenue manager get their first cup of coffee in the morning and be able to say, what needs my attention and what should I pay attention to first? So Wheelhouse's the tool is actually looking at Wheelhouse's own API and pulling back all of our listings, and it's digesting overnight for us operational pieces and things that need our attention. For example, when you think about 4,200 listings that Vtrips has, it's not possible for somebody to review pricing for all of these things in a given morning. So it's giving us the most important things to deal with. From the standpoint of being able to look at and single click approve for changes that we need to make simple notes of whatever we want based on what it is, and make that change automatically and track activities through a log that will actually back up and give that revenue manager knowledge over time of what they've actually been tracking and using. And if it's not that important and we want to say look at something that is we can wait for a little while, we can go ahead and dismiss it and snooze it for 2 weeks and have it come back up into their log when it's a pertinent time for them to review and analyze. Now, we've utilized Wheelhouse's API for our product, for our inventory, to give us underlying signals as well, real alerts. So looking at pricing engine estimates, revenue scores over different booking windows and the forward-looking point compared to the neighborhood occupancies, looking at booking cadence, which actually takes the history of the property and looks at the gaps between bookings created to actually isolate and understand, is it off the normal pace of when it usually gets bookings created or not, to create indicators for them, as well as pulls back channel revenue mix from all the booking data in Wheelhouse to actually assess what that property is doing. We're also utilizing the ability to simply click in if they want to explore more to the direct listing inside of Wheelhouse to actually function and do what they need to do. As well as in the future, once it's available with that API endpoint of the links, be able to click into the actual Airbnb listing or whatever channel listing they want as well to review other components of that. The biggest advantage here is that we're looking at multiple different pieces of
30 seconds.
tactical strategy. Thinking about rate syncing failures, you can log those and be able to track those back. And that's morning triage. I give that to you. Sorry, the video didn't work. The video
Way to audible. Awesome. Thank you. Judges, tough questions.
No one's asking you a question, Doug. Nice to see your face again.
Bad thing. You too, Richard.
Yeah, revenue management. So this is a tool for revenue managers as opposed to idiots like me running a management company. Should I start another one again? And I really get that. Is there anywhere in here I can actually ask morning triage more questions as to how it's come up with some of the rationale behind what it's doing? Because revenue managers is magic and interpretation, of course.
Absolutely. Every one of these info buttons has explanations of the logic of how it derived from it, as well as within any one of the why or underlying cards that actually gives you all the key considerations of what it looked at. We could expand more rich, detailed logic as well within it to actually give more of the individual API points and specific results it got back that made up the calculations. But in general, every single piece of metric and detail within here is documented on the logic from an info bubble standpoint so that it translates for all layers of competencies within revenue managers, whether senior level or individual.
But how do you
Doug, I feel
build?
like
How do you build the revenue manager?
How do you build the revenue manager itself? The reality is I gave it a series of calculations for metrics that we use internally and understand, and gave it the understanding to then spit it out for the descriptions and understanding it spits back in the info bubbles.
30 seconds. Steve?
Doug, I feel like this is a really great tool, especially if you're dealing with a lot of inventory, to be able to try to get through everything at a more granular level quickly. I think this is a really good tool for people who are managing 50 units plus. Is there anywhere in here where if when you're taking actions, if getting the if it's not getting the results that were under the intention of it, if it cycles back through and does a feedback loop to let you know, like, hey, we raised prices, thinking we're going to get higher ADR, suddenly we're not pacing as well. Corrective actions. Any chance of it doing that?
Yeah, it would do the full loop of it, because if it's recommending price cuts or price increases, then it's going to get flagged again within the scoring metric from the booking cadence aspect. So if it falls, it does better or it does worse than the deviations, it's going to do that. But then there's also other market roll-ups as well as listing level competencies that you can look at an individual listing to see all the activities that have been happening through that listings changes that the revenue manager has been making.
Sweet.
Very,
Thank you. Thanks, Doug.
Thank you.
Manas, next up, you ready to rock?
Yes.
All
Hi,
right, let's do it.
hi everyone. I'm Manas. So I built an app for property managers. I'll just share my the video that I recorded. So uh,
And let us know if you're having trouble sharing your screen. Oh, we lost your sound.
is my
There we
video
go.
visible?
Yes, we got you now. Oh, Jeff, we don't want your screen yet. Manas is up.
Hi, I'm Manas. I built an app called Horizon. Short-term rental property managers grow by winning new owners and keeping the ones that they have. There's a great tool, Wheelhouse, that makes each listing earn more. But nothing helps the manager actually win and keep owners. That's Horizon. It runs entirely. This is how the onboarding flow looks for Horizon. I can just enter my name. For now, I'll just use demo data, which is a snapshot of my actual Wheelhouse account. I explore demo. So this is the main dashboard. As I told, that there's basically two things that this app can do. It can help you win owners and it can help you keep owners. So I'll show how you can win owners. So basically you click on new proposal. Now, for example, I'm at this place, I met an owner and he's like, I have this property in Denver that I've been struggling with and it doesn't make as much money as the neighborhood. So I basically enter their address. It uses real wheelhouse data to get pricing nearby, and then it evaluates you against that, and then it gives you a projected revenue. This is all data backed. There is no hallucination in this. So according to the data, this property should be able to earn 23% more, which is crazy. So now I just send this to the owner and I'm like, cool, thank you for telling me that your property isn't performing well. I'll just send you how we can improve it 10x, and this actually works. So then the owner gets a mail just like this. Now you can also mark this as signed. So if it's like, if he's like in, then just now they are signed, which is interesting. So the second feature is keeping the existing owners. So now, because I have people who are already signed to it, for example, I will have this owner section for everyone who is signed to my Wheelhouse account. Then I can just check their performance and then I can drop them a mail with the updates or of how the platform has improved their property, which is nice, which works exactly as you would expect. It does the same thing it sends in. Hi, I'm
Manas, nice.
Thank you.
Anything you want to add, or should we just hand you right over to the judges?
No, it's fine.
Rock on. Judges, questions?
Very, very cool. If you could take it to the next step, what would you do next if you had additional time?
I've been thinking of this idea on how I can actually reduce the friction even more. So maybe adding like an AI CMO, which can understand the 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 problems and then sort of create marketing campaigns for it. That's the gist.
Very cool.
Thank you.
I'm doing a lot of questions, but really interesting on the especially on the owner retention and being able to communicate with them. When you are showing them like what they can do to improve property, their the income, that how assured are you of like the suggestions are actually going to create lift?
So everything is data backed. I'm actually using the neighborhood pricing API that Wheelhouse provides. So and nothing is like, it's not AI. There is very less AI like things in it, just the recommendation text. Everything else is data backed. So the percentage is very much data backed.
Quick suggestion on the owner facing thing, any kind of progress, gamification kind of feel to it, something that's a little bit more graphic. Owners, instead of just putting the dollar amount, kind of percentage to where you were last year, whatever our goals, I think the owners seem to respond to that. It's a cool platform. I like it.
Thank you.
Lovely. Final questions. Good. We'll go to the next. Manas, awesome. Great building with you this week. Jeff, now's your time to shine.
All
You're up.
right. Sorry for the early share there for
All
all
good.
those that cut it out there. I didn't know that was going to go live. All right. Let's see. Let me just check my settings real quick. Make sure that's going to. All right. We'll just hit play and let it go. Let me know if you can't hear it.
Okay.
This is Project Reigns. The idea is simple. Let AI do the heavy lifting, but you stay in control. Think of AI like a horse. It's fast, it's strong, but if nobody's holding the reins, it'll run you right off a cliff. Every property manager feels that. The upside is huge, but handling everything over to some black box is scary. Here's the thing. A wild horse and a champion racehorse are the same animal. The only difference is the reins. So what is Reigns? It's an alert system. Every night it looks at every one of your listings and tells you when something needs you. And if you're running a few hundred listings, let's be honest, you can't watch them all. That's the whole point. Reigns just tells you which one to go look at. No more digging through dashboards. Here's what that looks like. Say a date's priced too low, like these 8 peak nights at Park City Cabin, all sitting under their market. Reigns flags it, tells you what to charge and where you're leaving money on the table, and you push the new price right there. And it's not just pricing, it watches your reviews too. So if guests start mentioning cleaning, you hear about it early and fix it before it costs you more bookings. Same with your Airbnb search ranking, your calendar, how you're pacing against the market. It's all in one feed and it only shows you what actually matters. Now, what makes these alerts actually smart is that they know your market. See this market's demand column? That's coming straight from Wheelhouse RM API. Real occupancy and demand from your comp set. So Reigns isn't just guessing off your own numbers. It checks every date against what your market's actually doing and tells you where to move. And if you don't trust our logic, build your own. Just tell it, plain English, what you want to watch for. Nothing to configure, no rules to set up. It watches for it and pings you in Slack when it happens. You decide what counts as a problem. And acting on it is one tap. Price too low on a date, you get the alert in Slack, right on your phone. Hit approve and price updates to your PMS, live. You never even open a dashboard. Better decisions in way less time. All the power of AI, and you're still the one holding the reins. That's Project Reigns.
Pretty decent video production there. Judges.
I like the natural language alert feature where you can create your own. I was curious if there was kind of like a custom rules engine under the hood or how that kind of worked for you.
Yeah, so we have our default engine that bases off of either market demand or time series. But yeah, you can create your own custom logic by just typing in either selecting a metric that you want to watch specific to a property, or you can type in like watch my reviews, things like that, and then you can pick who it goes to and the channel that it gets delivered through.
Nice.
What were you using for your listing positioning technology?
So IntelliHost collects OTA data, so we have like the Airbnb search traffic and everything through our Chrome extension.
I think everyone just wants to watch a video again. Good job. Judges, any final questions? Cool. Jeff, you're free. Fars, you're up. Ready to rock?
Yep. Hi, everybody. 1 second there. Let me find share here. Screen. Can you see my screen?
We can.
You can?
Yes, yes.
All right. Okay. Let's go. Hi, everyone. So recently I analyzed some churn data for a PM, and one of my findings was that 1 in every 4 churn listings from their portfolio was out of sync compared to their price profiles of their market, which means that their prices changed either too late or too early. So that got me thinking that we need tools to better understand the impact of actions that the PMs and the owners are taking on their price profiles. And with that in mind, I built Price Pulse. Now, a few concepts that are important here. One is drift, which is the difference between the recommended price and the posted price on your calendar. And we can calculate this for every night and every listing. Once we have that, we can scale the drift by probability of booking, and that will give us the dollars at risk. And then finally, what I call pulse score. And pulse score is the correlation between the price profile that you have on your calendar and the price profile of the market that you're competing in. Now, if you're out of sync with your market, you have a very high chance of losing revenue, and that means that you're going to be highly at risk of churn. So with that, we can provide analytics at 3 different levels. So a PM can come to the portfolio level, and we can classify their portfolio to 3 different buckets of low risk, versus medium versus high. And we can give them a triage map. So for example, they can come here and see that this listing has the lowest pulse score and the highest dollars at risk. And they have to attend to that listing first. We can also give them the ability to simulate the results of their actions on this insight. So I have 2 scenarios here. One is what the portfolio looks like today on this row. And if this PM takes the 5 listings that they are the highest risk for them, and they address the pricing issues with them, this is going to what the portfolio looks like afterwards. And they get to know that how many of those dollars at risk, for example, they can save by these actions, and how they can improve the health of their portfolio in terms of the pulse scores. And they can also come here and go to the next level. They can do deep dive on listing level. And for every listing, they can see how the listing is drifting during time. They can also see the calendar for that listing and see which nights, for example, are the most important ones to tackle to fix the pricing issue for them first. Now, we can take, again, all of this and go even to a higher level, which is giving them recommendations on how to grow their portfolio. So what we can do is that we can use modeling to better understand what type of listings in the market are usually highly in sync with their market. So for example, we can realize that like review score is really important, or years of hosting experience is important, or being a pro operator could be important. Now, once we have this basically outcomes of these features out of our models, we can basically even tell them where to go and focus their marketing. We can basically say that, hey,
30
try to
seconds.
avoid like targeting 3 to 4 bedrooms in this neighborhood, university city, and instead go and focus on Noda for 1 to 2 bedrooms. So hopefully this gives them a very powerful tool to manage their portfolio. Thank you.
Nice, Fars. Thank you. Judges.
When you're looking at drift, is there any consideration for like the actual condition of the property? For instance, you might be in the same segment, but your property is just a lot better, has higher amenity sets or lower. If you're seeing consistent drift but performance, would you change segments, or will it do that for you? How does that work?
Not in this current version, but it does have the ability to add like new features. So if you basically go and say that like there are like certain listings that you need to like look at their condition, and basically just like add that to the formula that we have for calculating this. It does have that ability, but it doesn't do it like in this demo kind of like example that I've built.
Are there any communications built in this, either internally with the team members or directly with the homeowner?
So I believe that like the communication already comes like I believe that like so when we calculate the drift, both of this recommended price and the calendar price, you have access to them through the Wheelhouse API. But what is like novel here is that if somebody does not follow those recommendations, so you message them, but they are really late to answer those like those calls, and late to like logging into their app, what we can actually do is that we can actually look at like how they're performing compared to the market. Because if you're not following those recommendations, if you're not like responsive to the messages, then we can't really compare you to the recommendation because you never really followed that. But what we can do is that we can compare you live to the market and how the market is changing. And you can even do this not just for your own listings that you're managing, but listings of the competitors in the market that you're not managing. Because we have a lot of scrape data, so you can know what their posted price is, and then you know the price changes in the market. So you can do this even for the competitors' listings.
Lovely. We're at time. Forrest, great building with you this week. You're free. Great Prezi. Appreciate it. And Rudolph, you ready to rock? Oh, you're on mute.
Hear me now?
We got you.
Yeah, okay, great. Hi, I'm Rudolf. I'm from Budapest, Hungary, Europe. I had some technical issues, so I would like to switch now to my other account on my developer device where I have my app running. Just a moment.
Yep. Rudolph is an architect. I hope we get to see some of the places he designs. We have Rudolph. After this is Maria. We'll be at 10. We'll take a 1-minute break after that for folks just to get water, do whatever. Cheers. We're somehow almost on time. All right, Rudolph, you're on the clock. You ready to rock? You're on mute still on your Zoom.
Okay, hear me now?
Game time. Yep.
Yes, and you see my screen also?
We see me and us. Yep, there we go. Now we're live.
So yeah, I'm based in Budapest since 2 years. I'm an Airbnb operator, superhost. I developed a rather popular concept, which is a hotel room size, but by using the space smartly, which means a sleep cabin. Quick picture about it. Here you see the sleep cabin. You see an extendable stair, which is here pushed into the wall in this picture. If we scroll down a bit, you see now it's out and you can access actually the sleep cabin. By doing this, we freed up the space. We have this couch, dining table, and even a kitchen. Of course, I'm using Wheelhouse. Really happy with that. Comes with a lot of settings, but this is also overwhelming in the sense that you have to make a lot of choices. In the last 2 years, I have been fighting with this. Asking whether I should focus for long-term bookings, like 7 nights, 40 nights or longer, or shorter ones. Should I make differences between the seasons? So when I saw this hackathon, the first idea of mine was it should be possible with all this data opening up for my own data. The last 2 years was also from the neighborhoods. There should be some optimal settings. Well, therefore, I created my application in the last 2 days called Zeppelin. Here it is. I am an architect or a developer rather for real estate. I have some ideas of software development, but I'm there really a beginner. And I think I made a beginner mistake by really focusing on the back end, not so much on the UI. So the UI, what I had in mind to really make proposals for really detailed settings like 7 nights, 3 nights in August, July, that didn't work out yet. But I could make an application with a full backend, what gives me a recommendation if I should focus my property bookings by filling all the gaps to be
30 seconds.
fully booked. Oh yeah, and then or go more aggressive strategy, higher pricing but more open gaps. Because I am fully booked, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm successful because maybe simply my price is too low. I show you quickly what I've done with the back end. Because that is something what I've been proud of, because I was really fighting a lot. I should explain that we wanted to make a twin of all the Wheelhouse data into my application, because in order to give recommendations, my application should really understand the Wheelhouse settings. So we created a data twin, and it took a really long time for me to get matching 100%. But in the end, with the help of the Wheelhouse team, I got there. So proud of that. I made the lessons. I'm a beginner. I feel I am too much human in the loop yet. Whereas others having their AI's agents working for them while they're sleeping, there I'm not yet, but I think I have a nice concept what I would be happy to use myself. Backend, I'm happy. It's rather done. I made 300 tests successfully. Just now, it's really time to build a recommendation engine, and I'm ready to build further this. Any questions?
Lovely. Rock on. Judges, 1 minute. Rudolph, drop your Airbnb link in the chat for everyone so we can come stay with you. Judges, any tough questions?
It looks like you simplified the UI UX, but did you? But are you giving up some functionality over that?
Oh, sorry. I don't hear you.
I can answer. Steve, Rudolph can use every single thing is accessible via the API, so no functionality lost. Rudolph, we're having some audio problems. Try unsharing your screen. There we go. Okay.
Yeah, I see myself.
We got you. We got time for one question.
On that twin database, is that updated? What is that? How often is that?
Oh, I think audio has won the day. Sorry, Rudolph. Great job. Great Prezi. Sorry, judges. On to the next.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, I hear you again. It's in my headphone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hear you now. Okay, all good. So sorry for that. I'm ready for the questions.
We are not, though. We're over time, so we'll send you a question in the chat here, and you can answer it for judges. But we are going on to Maria. Thank you, Rudolph.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just trying to keep us on the clock.
Of course. It's tight schedule. Okay, bye.
Great stuff. See ya, Maria. Ready to rock?
Yep.
Lovely.
Can you see my screen?
We can.
Okay, great. So this is called Helm. The idea behind this was to show people that they could build their own dashboard. So I used Claude Designer. I started with Wheelhouse MCP and then moved to the API to get richer functionality. This took me 14 hours to build. And one of the things that it can do is quickly change between the clients that I work with. So it's not built for one client. It can be built for multiple clients or multiple markets. The other thing is it has 2 modes, an executive mode and a revenue manager mode. And other clever things in the design is, like other products, it goes from dark to light. So if we go quickly into being in the revenue manager seat, I have what I use, Booking Radar. It tells me which properties have booked below last year. So I have an ability to look at that. It tells me what's pacing behind right now. So you see that Lighthouse is one in the Tybee one. And then I can quickly switch to another market and see which market needs work today. Last, I go to the availability, and this is probably one of my cooler parts of the application. I just used it today for this client. The names of these properties have been aliased, and you'll see where I'm able to do that. In case I'm working with another client, want to show them the functionality, the information is confidential, so it switches. And this is basically telling me that the rates are lower than what I got last year. It tells me what I need to do, and I can apply it directly to Wheelhouse. The other thing I've built in is the ability to do the tiers in my high season. So it automatically figures out how to tier between the dates that I want. And so that is, pretty much the revenue manager side.
1 minute.
And then on the sorry, it keeps doing that. There we go. On the executive side, it shows a higher level view of what's going on in the company. And so one of the things that you'll see here is that April is behind pace. And so the executive is able to ask Helm why April sales are lower year over year, and it gets a list of what those might be. The other thing that I've built in is, again, I'm coming from a executive view, and so I get these questions all the time, and the idea is to let the executive have control of their questions and the answers. What this does is it gives them an idea of where the money is coming in and how it's going out. And in this particular case for Mangrove Landing, it's telling me how much revenue was generated from direct, how much was Verbo, and then it tells them the gross rent, what they paid to the owner, the cleaning fees. I can see if I'm covering my costs really quickly.
And
Guest
that's
service
all.
fees. I'm sorry.
And that's all, unfortunately. I know there's a lot more here, Maria. You've been awesome this week.
Sorry.
Judges, fire away.
Can you go to the what if lab? I'm just curious to see that tab as well.
Yeah. So I can set what would happen is here I'm going to add 2 properties at 2 bedrooms. I'm going to add them in October 21st, and it'll tell me how much revenue I'm gaining in the next 12 months, 2006 and 2007.
That's interesting. So you can essentially like simulate what you would earn if you change rates and what you were seeing last year, what you can expect for the 18-month horizon, et cetera. Very cool.
Everybody always wants to know what happens when they lose inventory and gain inventory. What's the net?
One more question.
Yeah, hi. Was this driven by complete frustration of not being able to find this data or get a PMS to provide it or anybody else, so your clients actually knew what was happening?
Yes.
Great answer. Okay, that's awesome. Maria, you're free. Thank you so much. Again, awesome building. We're going to take 2 minutes for folks to get water, quick break, stretch, stand up, etc. I think what I'll stress for folks in the audience, number one, everything you're seeing today, you could probably use if you email these folks. They built live tools that can update Wheelhouse today. I hope you're noticing also people taking different directions on certain things. Super interesting approaches here, OTAs to owner retention, to messaging and comms, to Tinder, to other items. But it's just been a massive, really, really fun creative cycle. Judges, what's your hot take? And judges, you get to take a break too. So go off camera, go on mute if you need it. Ben, you got a minute before you're on the hot seat. So just hang tight, bud.
I feel like getting hotter.
Right. But yeah, really blown away by it. What's that? Sorry. Was that you, Ben?
So I'm going to rejoin because my camera's.
Okay, cool. Lydia, what are your thoughts?
I'm just really enjoying all the projects. So many great ideas, and my mind is just spinning because beyond what is the presented use case, the same setup and the format can be taken to like a broader use or more narrow and kind of co-opt into something else. So it's taking lots of notes. Yeah,
we're seeing the future here where people control what they want to see, and they use platforms like us in a variety of ways. And it has been mind blowing. And we had to say no to 20 other amazing presentations, right? Really good builders who came and spent a lot of hours with us this week. Everyone's getting t-shirts. Those folks are up for other prizes, but pretty cool. Steve, what's your thought?
I mean, with every answer is more questions, right? Like, it's incredible to watch everybody pull all this information and think about the information in ways that I haven't thought about. And then you see it like, oh my gosh, that's incredible. And what about this? And what about that? But I mean, the amount of, it's like a nerd's dream come true to sit here and watch all this stuff. A lot of really interesting ideas and ways of thinking about things. I'm writing in my notes. I need this. I need that.
I know, right? The
Yeah,
double-edged sword of AI.
I gotta call these guys. I need that. And, but a lot of practical application, which I was wondering how practical the things would be. But there's almost everybody had something very practical that you could actually use today
Yeah.
that make your operation better.
Yeah. And by next week, all of these projects will be listed on our website, and you'll be able to message the creator there, and probably again, some might let you use it. Cool. We're gonna assume Amy might be back, maybe not, but we gotta go. Ben, you ready to rock?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me get you on the clock. Are you ready to share your screen?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Or whatever you're doing. Maybe you're just doing yourself. Okay. Hit it,
Okay.
Benny. You're live.
Hey, thank you so much. I want to ask the judges one question, real quick. What do you think the overall most important goal of revenue management is? I want you to think about that and see if kind of see if this changes your mind a little bit at the end. But in revenue management, I've always found it funny that you've got revenue managers managing $400 million of assets, $500 million of assets, and they've never met the owner of that asset. It's just Zoom calls and phone conversations. How do you keep a personal relationship with each individual homeowner? How many times have you like kind of kept bad tech or inferior products because of great service? That's what this is supposed to do. It's called the book. It starts off with a homeowner profile. You can choose any of your units. Then you can owner name, kind of personal notes about them. When I was a property manager, I thought I was really good at kind of proactive homeowner retention. I could kind of keep if one kid was in lacrosse or somebody just graduated college kind of in my head. But you can add that stuff under the personal notes there. Also, under the what should we watch section, we really get into those homeowner preferences. Do they care about occupancy? Do they care about booking all the time? What is their main goal with their asset and return on investment? When you hit save here, it is basically going to alert you by performance when anything changes, good or bad, right to the revenue manager. So they can just send out an email, they can give them a call kind of to celebrate or let them know, hey, we missed this, but we're not going to do it again. Then it comes here where you can pretty much just open query. Who needs a call this week? Two bedroom owners, who needs a call there? I'm going to recommend 5 to 7 based on homeowners I think may churn based on performance. Then it's going to walk you through the data, just where you are, where you need to go, and what the market's doing, what the numbers say about your rate compared to historicals and the market data. Then it's going to prep an owner call for you. This is exactly what I would say and how I would handle a homeowner. Just boom, 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 boom. Let's hop here since I only have a minute. I think the most important part is logging this call. You can kind of say how it went, what the homeowner mood was, leave a note, what you promised the homeowner, and then what to watch for. You can pretty much just say anything that you want in here. It's going to ask you if this is what you meant. So say maybe the homeowner is worried about October occupancy. So you say, hey, year over year pace for October, and then year over year revenue for 2026. And when anything changes, good or bad, it's going to let the revenue manager know right away. We're really trying to do is promote communication across the team. This is multi-user, so homeowner relations, CEO can drop notes in there as well. When you put what to watch for, when anything changes there, it's going to let you know right away. Then if you have a call with them and kind of I've given you too much data, give you 4 kind of talking points here for your call. And then also too, if you need to shoot them an email, it's going to
Sorry,
give you.
Bando. Also, we're at 3. Great job. Awesome work. Judges, fire away.
Ben, is it recording your calls? Is it recording your calls, Ben? Is
Yeah,
it recording
right.
your
Yes,
and then
sir.
summarizing them and then putting them into action items, or
100%. That's yes.
any sentiment analysis on it?
Yes, you can. That's what this is kind of for right here. Any kind of email or call notes is going to break down current performance, kind of a quick win where we may be lacking. And I think, it's decent language here. I think it kind of takes 2 to 3 minutes to kind of clean this email up instead of, taking 15, 20 to kind of write one.
Lydia.
Regarding the feedback from the owner, if they say they don't care as much about overall occupancy, whatever feedback that they have, does that automatically feed into the pricing, or is it something that just generates the task list?
Not yet. That's kind of tough to do. It's already correlating multiple KPIs. So to kind of build that in, not yet, but it will alert you. You can build that in to kind of see if it's following that preference. Yeah. I always thought that the number one goal of revenue management wasn't necessarily year over year revenue. It was year over year more booked nights. It's one thing to be up 10, 12% on your revenue. It's really hard to repeat that if you have less booked nights. So really trying to promote communication to the homeowner, really trying to give the revenue manager just simple data to talk to them. And really there just to get the communication going. All these alerts can go through Slack, they can go through an email, anything that you connect to at a team level.
Lovely. You're free, Benny. Thanks so much. Great work.
Thanks,
Cheers. Emily, you ready to rock?
I am.
Okay, and Mike's gonna be sharing your screen, I think. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, Mike, so you're ready to rock too? You'll be on the clock as soon as I see that screen shared. Okay, we're live. And we've got no audio if it's supposed to be playing something.
It is.
Mike, what's your over-under on fixing that? You're on mute now. That's why. Okay, so you got to come off mute.
All right, let's try again.
Sweet, thanks. Tough being the MC. I gotta be so.
Of markets. And
Lovely.
here's
Let's
what
start over.
Better?
Hi, I'm Emily Patillo, partner consultant at RevZen, where we manage revenue for thousands of listings around the world. I've built portfolios from 0 properties up to thousands of keys across dozens of markets. And here's what that taught me. With a handful of properties, you know every home inside and out. At scale, though, detail is the first thing that dies. So we built an entire operating system that helps us do our jobs a little bit better. A daily brief with weather, event, and news APIs integrated, property roll-ups to understand child-parent homes, live forecasts for every home, a ledger that actually tracks revenue from the changes that we make. We built all of it on live Wheelhouse data. But the first tool that I go to every day is Haystack. When I need to make decisions fast, it helps me answer one question. Across multiple portfolios, various markets, various nuances, what actually needs me today? Honestly, that is sometimes looking for a needle in a haystack. We have tons of reports with various slices of data, but it requires us to look endlessly for pricing opportunities. And at scale, you can never look at everything. You work top down from your best performers or bottom up for your worst, and the entire midsection of the portfolio can go sometimes underserved. The squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? And that middle section, that quiet middle section, is exactly where revenue leaks unnoticed. The haystack looks at all of them every night, 16 detectors, pricing against neighborhood clusters, booking velocity, stale rates, minimum stay walls, group pacing, and these aren't generic AI hunches either. Every detector encodes over a decade of revenue management distilled into SOPs. And that decade is as much about what to ignore as what to flag. So when it sets a signal aside, such as this one's owner blocked, this one has an HOA minimum that can't be touched, it's not just noise filtering, it's our judgment infused into these indicators. What's left is a short list of things that genuinely need a human today. And it's the kind of call you can't get by asking ChatGPT or even generic AI insights. Every needle that we find in this haystack comes with receipts, not just consider raising prices. It suggests specific defensible moves with evidence sitting right beside it, such as occupancy running well below the neighborhood while the listing is priced above it with 16 days open and over a 30-day period. One button can simulate the pricing modification, while another can even draft an email to the PM for approval because it's integrated with Gmail if you need it. Also, it's mobile. Urgent pricing questions while I'm in another meeting or even on a boat with my family on a Saturday afternoon, I can text my MCP integrated agent Rex straight from my phone on Telegram, and he answers with the live book in seconds, trained to find those needles for our clients, customized SOPs. My portfolio no longer waits for my laptop in a pinch. At RevZen, whether you have 5 listings or 5,000, you can surface the same attention to detail at any scale. That's Haystack, and our clients have the peace of mind knowing we will find those needles. Thank you.
Lovely. 1 minute for questions, judges.
Where did you get your outside signals from?
My outside signals?
Yeah, you had a line in there which said outside signals, things like events or Thanksgiving.
Yes. So I have an integration with SeatGeek, with weather apps, with like news out there. So kind of integrate into the suggestions.
And who's the target? Is this managers or is this revenue managers in managers' businesses?
Yes, this is for revenue. This is an internal tool that we've built to make just make our lives easier.
And you have a revenue manager internally to help you do this.
Well, I am the revenue manager, so I built it for me and our team.
That answers
Emily,
it.
is there anything that you had in there that you took out?
Well, I built an entire operating system, so I can only show you one part of it. So there's other parts like you can make a change and then it tracks it in the ledger, so you can actually see what's happened after you made those changes. But there's a lot that you can't see from 3 minutes.
Definitely. Thank you, Emily. Great job. Well done. You're free. Mitchell, you are up, ready to rock. On mute, but ready to rock. All right.
1 second.
Clock starts when I see your screen.
All right, I got you.
Good work, Emily. You're just going to stay on stage all day.
All right. So yeah, quick intro. I built this in about 2 days for the hackathon. So the entire module that you see here is for the Wheelhouse hackathon. So I appreciate the team for the API. So traditionally, revenue management has always been about hiring someone to either price the platform or you have to figure it out yourself. And the problem with this is context. So there's a context issue when it comes to just using a data like Wheelhouse, price size, etc., where this doesn't know the rest of your business. So you have things going on such as like tasks, messages with guests, house issues, reviews, etc., and none of the platforms take into consideration when they price the home. And whose job is that? It's always been traditionally the property manager or the revenue manager. So what we built was a pricing engine that runs entirely on an agentic OS, which is a Trellis. So this is actually an extension of Trellis. I'm product at Trellis. It's a revenue manager agent that handles all the rental revenue end to end with you in the loop. So for the sake of time, I am going to open up like some example interactions with Breathe. But you can see here that on a daily basis, we actually have pricing importing completely from a Wheelhouse at a snapshot. And then Reeve goes through each and every single home to provide an insight on what matters the most. And of course, you're going to have a dashboard that has beautiful data. You can see, these different opportunities and visualize all of this. The same thing here in performance. I can easily filter and see the numbers that matter the most. This is based on just like market research in terms of what property managers actually care about. This is for property managers to use for their business. So I can easily filter through properties. And Reeve takes all the data into context. So not only the property data, but in Trellis, we have the connection to the PMS, the task system. So anything that happens at properties, also with Slack, which is I'll get into in a second. So when Reeve makes decisions, it's not only looking at the data, but it's also looking at what it knows from that data. I can easily also go into the calendar, check out whatever I need to check out. I can select, some dates, and I can ask Reeve about it. And then
1 minute.
this will into context for Reeve, and he'll answer. So like I'll pull up another transcript here, real quick. So as you can see, this was a past transcript. It's just telling me some factors in his reasoning, and you can make a decision from there. I can go into this forecast lab, which actually shows a really cool like market lighthouse. You can scrub through data points to show the recommendations versus what you're listed at with this guide. At the bottom here as well, you can do simulations and actually run through a different review dates depending on like the algorithm you want to choose. The cool part about Reeve is workflows. So every single day he can actually run a workflow that goes straight to Slack. And I'm trying to see if I can share Slack as well. Let me know if that comes up and you can see it. But if you can see here, he's actually sending a portfolio plus daily. And then I just asked him to make a dashboard of the data because I'm on the go. I don't want to talk to Reeve like on the web app. I don't have time. I'm on the go on my phone. And then boom, like he renders this really cool portfolio post. I can have conversations with Reeve directly from Slack, make different decisions. He can kind of tell me like what's going on in the business at any moment. And of course, use the context of what's going around, in terms of the actual properties themselves.
Lovely. You're good. Thank you. Awesome. Well done. Great presentation. Great build. Judges. Richard's laughing about something. Is
Well,
your mind blown?
I was trying to absorb all that because Michelle
It's
has
a
done
lot.
so much.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. What were some of the signals that you found outside of kind of the Wheelhouse data from within Trellis that kind of moved the needle for you in terms of your pricing data and analysis?
So we index information across like properties like over time. So that way agents can easily like use retrieval tools and have sentiment over properties and rank that, right? So by giving the agent a specific tooling that focuses the context on what matters, such as like sentiment over a property and reviews, it can take it into consideration. So if Wheelhouse is recommending a certain property go higher, and Reeve can actually back that data by saying, yeah, this property has had really good sentiment from people, then it's going to be like a really strong signal versus something like, it's Wheelhouse is saying, oh, improved nights, but then Reeve can see this property's had bad reviews recently. It's had a lot of maintenance problems. I can tell from the sentiment, like you should probably not listen to that judgment, right? You should probably like look at it and talk about it. So that's how we see it.
Lovely. I thought we had time for one more question. We don't. Awesome build. Great to spend time with you this week. We are on to our next with, I believe, is Emil and Bartjan. Oh, pause. Mike, you're on mute again. Or no, wait, sound's not coming through quite yet.
My name is Richard Vorton, and after 30 years in this industry, I have to conclude something uncomfortable. Nobody has ever built anything for owner relations teams. Not one tool ever. Their real job is personal. Knowing the owner's name, their kids' names, why they bought that villa in the first place, the trust built over years. But instead, they run the same loop every single day, chase the revenue team for numbers, translate those numbers for the owner, then chase operations to make it actually happen. Back and forth all day, every day. They're the glue holding this entire industry together, and we gave them nothing. For all of us, I found a solution for it. It's a digital twin of myself, introducing House Project, here to solve the communication gap between owners, owner relationship managers, and revenue managers. The tool starts with an intake form when a new owner wants to join the company. And they get an initial forecast based on their inputs, and that forecast is then carried through the revenue journey of that owner. So in the listing tab, an owner relationship manager could play with any of the owner requests. For example, what is the impact of increasing my minimum length of stay? If you see here, you see the forecast instant queue change or cancellation policy. If I have to move, what is the impact? Could see all the top amenities performing, or scan instantly for issues happening in on the specific property. So you could give a pushback to the owner if he or she has some questions. Could also install some questions and install some triggers when and when not to outreach to owners in terms of revenue performance based on the market. All changes that are made are instantly pushed towards the revenue manager, so there doesn't need to be a communication from owner relations to the revenue manager anymore. But let's now get to the cool point. You could just ask everything which you could configure towards me, towards Ask Richard. Let's say, what is the impact of increasing my minimum length of stay to 4.9. You see here, Richard instantly gives you the answer. Increasing from 3 to 4 would cost you about 2,000 less in revenue. You could ask Richard any key. Let's ask something else. Which amenities to add for more revenue? Richard really acts as an advisor. It says, hey, your neighbor listens, have a laptop for a new workspace, high chair, and gym. So those could help you earn more money, get a better word of investment. Ask Richard is here to solve the communication gap that this industry is facing. It solves the gap between owner relations, revenue managers, and owners. Now, if I'd be the judge, this would be a winner. Now I'm off. I need an English tea.
AI has arrived. All right, Richard had no role in that video other than providing the beautiful face. I don't know if we have a representative from the team here. Is that correct? I know it's 9 p.m. or so, and probably 7 p.m. in Belgium right now. Shoot. Ask Richard. Okay, you want to get in. I want you to get in. Let's see. Let's get you up here for a second. Are we able to, Jack or Mike, are we able to get up for 1 minute of questions with Bartjan? Bart, you're on the clock, big time.
I am. Can you guys hear me?
You can. Questions, judges.
Well, it's one from me, Bart, of course, because you stuck my face on that. So um, I'm not sure whether to say thank you or not, actually. But um, why did you, as a operator of your current revenue management business, decide to choose owner acquisition as opposed to what most people have done, improving revenue from a guest perspective?
Well, I believe a revenue manager in this day and age has to be able to do two things. They have to be able to look at the data, and second, be able to translate that data directly to owner relations, who have to then translate it back to owners. And that's a difficult part. That's something that AI cannot solve. AI can only empower them. So that's why we want to be able to empower homeowner relations so they could do the most essential part, be with their owners.
Lovely, man. Too bad we had 3 folks on stage. We want to ask you all questions. Great build. Unfortunately, we're at time for 5 minutes. So great work. Very creative. Appreciate it. Henry, you ready to rock?
Yes, I am.
Let's do it. I'll start the clock
I'm
when
gonna
we
share
see
my
the
screen. Okay, let's do this right here. All right. First, want to say thank you to everyone for joining. Want to thank the Wheelhouse team for putting this together, improving the API endpoints. Very excited about this, and want to thank the judges for taking times out of their day to take a look at this. So I'm going to jump right into it. So the first thing that I wanted a long time ago, basically, long story short, I was going through some graphs with an analyst week by week for a building. And then we found about maybe 3 weeks out of the next 6 months needed adjustments, but it took us about an hour to go through it. And so thinking about that when I was going through it, I realized that it's a language, basically what we were looking at. We could turn into a language. And also I wanted to mitigate having to click from graph to graph, finding the issue. So basically we created this pulse section. I'm on the context right now. Pulse section. So basically it puts all of your high priority items right in the face of the analyst. So it basically values pacing forward, looks at historical trends, compares to market trends as well. And I want to mention that it's not looking at the hard values of the market data. I know ADR has been skewed a little bit with market data, so it's looking more so at the trends and then applying it to make recommendations for our listings. So when you click into a high priority, it will give you date ranges that need potential changes. And then if you come in here, you can click approve, deny, or you can actually manually adjust it, and it'll give you the reason for those as well, and then even show you the current rates. This really mitigates the need to having to look and find the issue in the first place, and then also just helps you kind of like record every time that one of these gets approved, it gets banked, and then we can actually learn from that through the history. With a lot of the homes, they'll have minimum stays, or an owner is very particular. We've also built profiles for homeowners. So basically they can fill out an owner profile. We have different basically profiles for for the pricing logic, and then they kind of get slotted into that, and then based off of their answers, it actually applies different weights in our proprietary algorithm to make more personalized changes. So on a large scale, you're able to control consistency and expectations, and then on a small scale, it's still very personalized. So if an owner said that they didn't want under $500 a night minimum, we wouldn't be recommending to go underneath that. We do have another section where it would show like the impact of that, but we can also take
30
context.
seconds.
Oh, context and strategies. You can import meeting notes, CSVs, pricing notes, and then those all get filtered into the decision making and the recommendations.
Oh
Hopefully
no,
I
I
got
didn't
it
mean
all in
to.
there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Anything more? You got technically 13 seconds.
Oh, shoot. It's
You're
very
free.
intuitive.
Don't worry. Judges.
You're good.
Judges, your time.
I had a question for you. So you mentioned that you were basically able to take like this context and whatnot and create rules essentially around that. I was curious if that was kind of an automated process to where you can essentially take like that $500 minimum that an owner specified and have that taken from like a call context and put into a rule engine.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, because you can upload transcripts right now. So you could just upload transcripts, and then that's where like the AI piece comes in and kind of sorts it out and then applies it to the listing. So we do have like templates to give out to homeowners so that they can fill it out. Every homeowner thinks that their home is the best home in the world. So instead of just saying like, oh, do you want a premium or, anything like that, we ask specific questions that kind of like get the answer we want to get without taking the bias out for the most part. Is that kind of what you're looking for?
Yeah, for sure. No, it's a massive problem to where every homeowner wants $1,500 a night for their property, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's interesting.
One more question. Lydia?
Henry, can I see that guardrails tab?
Oh, sorry.
The guardrails tab. Yes, I didn't touch on this because it's not completely done. But yeah, this is basically minimum rates. And then also with the questionnaire, there is a length of stay, basically piece two. And so it sets up their length of stay basically profile and or settings that will go into Wheelhouse through the API. But for the guardrails, we actually love the historical anchoring piece. And so we actually made it a little bit more intuitive. So we can have a window now. And then we could also say to turn it on or off within the certain amount of days when the booking was made historically, if you guys are obviously familiar with historical anchoring.
Cool. Lydia, quickly.
Yeah, if say you're uploading a transcript and then it generates whatever rule about that owner and the context there, are you able to audit what got generated? Like say someone did in fact say they want to do $1,500 a night. Is there a way for you to prevent this and audit what rules got made?
So audit basically as in like make sure that like the transcript comes over correctly?
Yeah, or if it generated a rule that like can't be applied or shouldn't be entirely applied.
Oh yeah, it wouldn't make any recommendations besides like we have another section that's basically gonna it shows like the impact of that. Most of those will get snoozed because we're not gonna go underneath what an owner minimum rate is, but we will tell them how it impacts their property.
Cool. We're at time. Thanks so much, Henry. You're free. I think we have a kind of a few folks missing. Jack, should I pop over the two video plays, or do we have someone ready to rock?
We do. Well, Parker is up next. I'm trying to promote him. It keeps declining. So that might be a good time to play
Okay, I'm going to hop over. We're going to run through one pitch here from Quinn, who can't join us. I'm going to share my screen. I think the sound will play.
Judges, that's on your scorecards is like one of the pink highlighted ones. So.
Cool. Can you all hear me for this?
Hey, Wheelies, Quinn here. So every AI tool has a thumbs up and a thumbs down feature. You give feedback, it gets better. What if your pricing tool could do that too? Well, introducing RevTune. A booking comes in, and the RevTune agent is going to ask you 3 simple questions. How do you feel about the price, the booking lead time, and the booking length? One judgment can be noise, but 4 of 4 weekend bookings a month out, coming in low and leaving real money on the table is a signal worth paying attention to. So you remember every booking that felt too low or too short a stay given the lead time, but how do you know if that's the right call? With RevTune, before purely trust my gut, it checks Wheelhouse's data. It looks like I'm feeling faster than my comp sets here. So it backs me up and raises its own confidence. And so one click, we're going to raise our minimum price from $318 to $365 for Friday and Saturday only. Now let's check that on Wheelhouse. So my minimum price is $318. Let's refresh the page. Okay, and I'm up to 65. So you know your market, Wheelhouse knows the data, RevTune is where they meet. Almost under 2 minutes. All right, well, thanks for watching.
Tune takes sentiment around bookings, updates Wheelhouse. Cool. And is Parker on stage now, or do we want to go to the other? Or we got Michelle here. Michelle, are you ready to rock?
Yes, I think I'm ready.
Okay, let's do it. I will start the clock when you share your screen.
Okay. Use video. See if it works. Cool. Awesome. So I created Revenue Atlas. This is to take all of the data that property managers have at their fingertips, which is pricing, channel distribution, reservations, competitive benchmarking, etc., and turned it into actual recommended items that also bring revenue impact. The scoring, the revenue opportunity score here, tells you exactly like what revenue is currently being captured. If you click on how it's being calculated, everything is explained, so there's no black box, and it tells you the methodology and formula. Moving down to the core product, this tells you the highest value opportunities with what the expected return can be. And when you go to the specific review recommendation, again, it tells you all the explanations with everything laid out as the methodology, formula, and evidence. How do I exit out of here? Because I'm blocked. Okay, awesome. And then also additionally to this product, I added the channel distribution factor to stop publishing the same price everywhere. The thought process on this is that you should not have the same price on every channel because the guest behavior is different for every channel. Again, it kind of tells you per channel, like your most optimized channels, recommendations, what the return is going to be. And then also it tells you everything as far as how this came to this conclusion so that you're fully aware and you can audit it if you don't trust it like I would myself. And then it also tells you who to deprioritize just because you're not really seeing a huge lift for the effort that you're putting in. If I open it here, there's a capture plan. This is fed into a feedback loop schema. So that way, every action that you complete will be recorded here. And then anything that isn't equating to what the decision intelligence graph is telling you will also be shown here. So you know to undo that and do something else.
40 seconds.
Down here, I just wanted to put everything that is into this intelligence graph verbatim outlined so you can see everything full scope. And I also have a chatbot that you can ask questions to if you get confused while you're using this product.
Sweet. Judges, take it away. Michelle, great job. I knew you showed you were nervous before this, but you just crushed.
I hate presenting. This is what I'm a numbers nerd. I don't like this.
Steve.
I like how I liked how you're thinking about the channels not to prioritize because making a lift. How are you pulling that exactly?
So this is from a deterministic algorithm that I had built, and it's basically taking scraped Airbnb, VRBO, Booking.com, and Expedia data, and it was put through a 7-day, I guess, like learning schema to be able to continuously update.
Are you able to make different decisions for different channels, like because I mean they react differently, or is it just saying, okay, this our strategy is doesn't work here, so leave that one alone?
So what I did, I took two different fronts. I took, reservation data and kind of like, I guess, that behavior, as well as the, I guess, researched consumer behavior from the channels. But then I also took just from the channels when I look at like reviews and I look at like host, I guess, ratings. Comparatively taking all of those together, I was able to build like a guest kind of profile for each channel. And that was what I used to feed into this.
Okay.
Lovely. Sorry, we're at time. Michelle, awesome work. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys. I appreciate
Judges
it.
can
Thank
follow
you,
up with more questions in
Wheelhouse.
side chat. Lovely to build with you. And we've got Jordan, ready to rock?
Sure am.
Lovely. I'll start. Well, you know how the drill. 3 to go. 2 live, 1 more video. Game on. Ready, Jordan?
You're not seeing it?
We can see it, we can't hear it.
You can't hear it?
Nope.
All right. I'll talk over. You can hear me though, right?
We can.
Awesome. So, oh my goodness. I'll get there. There you go.
We can't hear anything.
So, okay, no problem. I'll just go.
Okay.
So super happy with this opportunity to be here, guys. What I'm presenting today is a build on Prometheus. So Prometheus is a agentic AI revenue management analyst. It is a unified decision and intelligent layer that sits on the top of your entire tech stack. So all your data points, all of your different tools, they all kind of get combined into Prometheus under one interface that you can interact with. In the instance of Wheelhouse here, you can see that kind of all gets pumped into Prometheus. And so with this new opening of APIs, we wanted to go ahead and try to ingest all those different capabilities. So we'll see if we can get this demo to kind of play on the side where we go. But here you can see the chat. You can do anything from strategy setting, education, setting pricing changes directly in the chat interface, and it will push to Wheelhouse, human in the loop always. Here you're seeing the dynamic dashboard. This pre-fills with Wheelhouse data automatically in Prometheus. You can also type custom prompts in the bottom, and we'll make visualizations on the fly in a revenue management context. But that's not all we did. We didn't just integrate into an existing thing. What we wanted to do is really push the envelope during this hackathon. And so what we did is we thought back to this winter when I was able to take a trip to New York, and Prometheus was able to onboard our very first client. I sat at his kitchen table, saw his vacation rental, helped him fix his hot tub, and then we talked even more about Prometheus. The two big problems he had all the time were I can look at everything, all of this data, all of these tools, but I never know where I'm actually going to land. And I never know what these pricing changes and settings are actually going to do as an impact. So we went ahead and built two things on top of this Wheelhouse RM API. The problem we addressed is the fact that the dashboards that you see now are always as of today, right? It's always on the books. It's a snapshot. It's right now and in the past. It's not really going to end up. And so by the time you're making all of these decisions, you don't see the results 2 weeks later, and it's really too late to pull your bet back at this point. So we built a forecasting engine on Wheelhouse's RM API. So how this works is we have set revenue plays that are preloaded, and we built this Wheelhouse play for this hackathon. What it does is it will take all of your data, all of the pricing data and the demand data that comes in from Wheelhouse, and it uses a demand model to estimate the probability of bookings, simulates filling your existing calendar, and then gives you a forecast with a range. With the settings change preview that they provide in the RM API, we're able to allow users to then go and activate setting changes, preview those pricing changes, and use the same forecast method from the back end to estimate the revenue impact of setting changes. So here in a second in the demo, you'll see it pop up. I'll let it play. They play with different scenarios, so you can see the revenue impact. Example of going from conservative to aggressive, from changing your weekend advance. I know this presentation wasn't exactly the way I planned it, but I think it's pretty cool that a couple of months ago, I was sitting at a vacation rental owner's kitchen table talking revenue management, and now today, because of this API and hackathon, it's potentially, in the next week, all Wheelhouse users could be able to forecast their setting changes, which is the click the button. And all this is ready. All you have to do is log in, drop in your RM API, and you can use this. There's no plotting, there's no coding. This is ready to go.
Lovely, lovely. Judges, time for one question. Thanks for the audible, Jordan. Well done, well handled. One question from judges. I got one. Go ahead. Sorry. Nope.
Oh, you got it.
Nope. No. I'm not allowed. I was just going to help.
All right. I guess from the demand engine perspective, how were you able to kind of like build that out and track its accuracy? I know you only had a few days to track that, obviously, but was curious if you were able to test it against like historical data or otherwise to validate it.
Yeah, so it's actually a three-step approach. So from day one, you start with really simple kind of market averages and priors. Uses a really simple estimation and gives you a wider range. As you gather more data, it upgrades you to more sophisticated models at level 2, and then eventually to a level 3, which uses all sorts of gradient boosting on the back end as well. Wheelhouse released an API that gives you really good snapshots retroactively, and so you can really use that kind of back into a probabilistic demand pattern.
Lots of good building here. Thanks, Jordan. You're free. Awesome. I don't think we have Parker on stage yet, so I'm going to switch over to the second video I've got here. This is from a builder over in Finland. And let's watch. I think if I can get a thumbs up from one of the judges, if you can hear the video when I push play.
I actually don't think this video had sound, so I think you're okay.
You're right. My bad. We're going to go on big screen. There's no sound. Let's start over. Sweet. I know it ends there. Probably tougher without some audio. General ideas to look at gross. Folks, I'm freezing this screen because this is accessible now. Folks can go use it. You can use your API key and use this tool, and we'll share out the project afterwards. Sorry, judges, no questions when there's no sound and no panelist here. Do we have the final panelist joining from Zoom? Okay, I think we've got the final panelists coming in. We've done a little reshuffle. Am I missing anyone? I think Parker will be our last. Jack, Mike, any?
Nope, this is it. Parker's last. Judges, this is the one I highlighted in pink on all of your scorecards. I highlighted 3 because we skipped and went a little out of order, but I think you can figure out this will be Parker.
Yep. Judges, we get to go to a room separate after this and go figure it all out. So Parker, are you ready to rock? We can kind of see, we can see your screen. We can't hear you if you're talking.
Oh, okay. How about now?
Yes, we're looking at me again. Let's see. I feel like Richard. I feel like ask Richard.
Testing.
Testing, we hear you, but we can't. We've got a little bit of the infinite window going.
Parker, if you just go to your window where you have your thing, I think everything should be good.
Okay. Yeah, let me I might have to could you let me back in? Because I was using the web version of
Yep,
Zoom.
hurry.
Okay.
I think I can stop share from your screen. All right, all. A little calm before the final pitch. Judges, I hope we have 5 more minutes with you after this, maybe 10, just to do a quick recap. I know we've asked for a lot of your time today, but
Can you stick the next link in, Andrew, to the next channel?
What's that?
Can you share the next channel link if we get off this one?
Yeah, Mike will drop it to the panelists.
Yeah, coming over right now.
Yeah, we're gonna hop over to and you'll have a calendar invite in just a second too, but we'll drop the panelist Zoom link for this. Thanks. Do you think there are any AI agents in our webinar chat? I'm gonna go with yes. This Ask Richard thing keeps seemingly responding in a way that makes me
Hey.
Think so. Parker, I can toggle over to your video if you need it. Mike, can you actually get me that link just in case? We'll give Parker kind of one more minute here and then we'll do.
Yep, I dropped it already.
Thanks. Is it a little bit up here? Okay.
12:55.
He rejoined from a different account and then I think it dropped. So
Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. Parker, I'm gonna play your video. You'll get some time afterwards. And we're on.
I bought a pretty average ranch house in Tampa, yet now it's outperforming properties that are double or triple the price of what I paid. And I did that using Wheelhouse comp sets. The first thing I did was to look at properties that were similar and that were high performers in my area and study those. And what I found is that I was in a weekend heavy market where weekends were almost always fully booked. So I overpriced on weekends and underpriced on weekdays. So what this does is it uses my historical pricing data for my listing. It uses my current settings and it compares the calendars and day of week stats of my comp set of listings in the comp set. So I use this BNB Calc image analysis API I developed to create that comp set of visually similar listings. I scored them by things that guests look for, like amenity fit, similar outdoors, backyards, and a similar design, as well as a nearby location. Using that data and looking at my settings, it came up, with some evidence-based recommendations. First is the base price. It's showing that my base price is below the median of those comps that the AI selected for me. So it's recommending that I raise that price. Next, it's finding that, my comps are exceeding my max price pretty often. So it's recommending that I raise the 1900 or my max price from 1400 to 1900 to take advantage of those, 18 out of the next 90 days that my comps are exceeding that $1,400 price. And finally, another change it made is that it is showing that lead time of my comps are 64 days. So why should I start discounting 90 days out? It's recommending that I change the last minute discounts to start at 45 days and not discount too early. So using all these settings, I sort of emulated what I did when setting up my listing on Wheelhouse, made it very, very easy to understand, and came up with evidence-backed concrete recommendations that I can click and apply here.
Sweet. Parker, you're on stage with us?
Whoa.
No. Okay, judges. We'll have to save any questions. We have reached the end of the demo day section. For folks who are with us, in 1 hour, we're going to meet back and award some prizes. The judges will be gone. They'll have made their final decisions. And we get to hand over some money and a big key and all those fun things. Thank you so much for joining, judges. Awesome, great questions. We'll see you